Dad and Kevin hunted the previous weekend, and on Friday night, Kevin shot this awesome 9-point at about 50 yards with his crossbow. My tree stand is only about 100 yards from Kevin's, and we have seen a lot of the same deer, so this gives me confidence of what is still out there. Weekend 4 of my chase for a whitetail buck kicked off on a nice, cool Saturday morning in typical fashion, with the does coming and going. The rut is now in full swing, which has made the buck activity increase to the point that I am now seeing them every time I am out. Most of them are too small to be legal with the point restrictions we have in this area, but it is still exciting to see them nonetheless. This doe came in around 10 a.m. and gave me one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had yet. Okay, guys. It's a little after 10 o'clock. October 30th, the day before Halloween. That's Saturday. Activity's been fun this morning. Got out here a few minutes late. Not terrible. Still before dark. Still before anything moved. But it was a little slow start. But the last probably 2 hours have been pretty good. Had a couple bucks come through. I had one buck actually in shooting range. First buck I've ever had in shooting range. Too small to shoot though. And then I had a doe come right up to the bottom of my ladder stand. That was really, really cool. Other than that, it's just been a fun day. Just seeing the bucks nose the does around a little bit, seeing the does come through. But yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 different bucks today. It's been fun. Seems to maybe have slowed down here just a little bit again. But we'll sit a little bit longer and we'll see what happens. So it's about lunchtime now. It's about 11:30. My spot calmed down a bit, so I got a text from Dad saying he downed one. Sent me a picture of it. It looks really nice. So I hopped in the truck and drove out to his area, but still got to park quite a ways away. So we're on our walk out there now, and can't wait to see it. What you got, old timer?
Wow. He's a dandy. Whoo!
Nice. All morning.
All morning.
All morning.
Wow. He's a beaut. Well, it's the afternoon. Got down for lunch, went and helped Dad take care of his deer. It's a nice deer. Did a little work on Kevin's rifle stand. It's a kind of a 10 by 10 elevated platform house of sorts. It was built by the previous guy that hunted that spot, but he's not allowed back here because he's a slob. So Kevin inherited that spot now. But anyway, he built that, and it's really difficult to get up and into, so we made it a little easier. Then we got a bite to eat. Now I'm back out. So it's been a good productive few hours here for lunch, but we're heading back out to the stand now. Look at these colors behind me. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's just so beautiful. I love being out here. There's nothing better than being outside, surrounded by nothing but nature. I love it.
I got up in my stand and started filming some B-roll footage to kill the time before the typical activity starts. The way the sun was coming through the clouds was really cool, so I focused my camera on that when this guy came out of the pines around 5 p.m., much earlier than I was expecting.
That was illegal. Shooter buck at 25 yards. I even called him in. He was heading down the fence line away from me, and I got his attention. Then he caught me. I accidentally hit a buck grunt instead of a doe bleat. And I think that got him suspicious. And He caught me through a little hole in the leaves. He could see me, and I didn't realize it. 25 yards. He needed to walk 10 more feet, and I could have gotten a shot on him.
Up until that point, that was the worst feeling I had had yet in the tree stand. That was the first legal buck that I have had in range, but he was just behind some low-hanging leaves. I thought I'd take that opportunity to put my call away and get clipped onto the string. All he had to do was walk another 10 more feet by the big rock, and I would have had a nice, open 25-yard shot on him. But he caught me through a small gap in the leaves that I didn't realize he could see me through. Oh well, that's why they call it hunting and not shooting, right? The rest of that day was more of the usual activity, with does walking through and grabbing a bite to eat in the field. Nothing too exciting. I can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store.
Okay, it's Sunday now. It's about 9 a.m. It's much colder this morning. I think we got out here, it's like 37 degrees. Activity has been about normal, but I've been seeing more bucks. I mean, obviously, the rut's going on. I did have a shooter come to within 50 yards of me, but he was tailing a doe. The doe didn't come close enough. Other than that, it's just been sporadic activity in the field. I've had some more behind me in the woods, which isn't very normal. So, we'll just sit and see what we see. Ooh, I'm shaking. Just arrowed a shooter. I think I hit him high though. I don't know. I don't know. I hit him high, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna get down. I'm gonna go see if I can find some blood initially. But he's gonna need some time. But I'm just gonna at least see if I can see some sign here initially. So.
Okay, real talk now. I didn't film anything after that. I sat in the stand for a little while. I got down, I went and looked at the initial shot site just to see what I could see. There was nothing there. I couldn't even find hair there. I looked at my Osmo footage, and I kept looking at that over and over again. And it just kept sinking in further and further. It confirmed that that was not a good hit. It was not in any vitals. There is an artery or some blood vessels or something there along the back that I could have hit. Obviously there's the spine. But I didn't hit either of those either, I can tell. There was no blood, no hair at the shot site. The path the deer took after he ran took him across the fence line and into the pines, and then he took an immediate turn around a pine, and it was at that point that I lost all visual sight of him. So what I did is I walked up along the path he ran, and I scoured that area. I found half a dozen tiny drops of blood, like I just cut my finger kind of blood. Nothing to say that he was hit good. So I waited longer. My dad came over. We started scouring the area for more sign. The problem with those pines is once you get into them, there's paths in every direction. There was no telling which direction he went once he left my sight. So we looked all over. We didn't find any more blood, no more droplets, nothing. So based on the lack of blood, knowing exactly where I hit him, and previous experiences where in rifle seasons we've shot deer where there have been arrowheads embedded in them in worse places than where I hit this guy, I am certain he's alive. He's probably pulled the arrow out by now. It was shot, he was hit far enough back to where he'd be able to reach it and pull it out. So I have no doubt that he's alive. Yeah, he's wounded, he's stung, but he's gonna heal and survive that. With that being said, that still doesn't help with the ethical hunter in me. I've been having a hard time coming to grips with the fact that I just wounded an animal that I cannot retrieve. And you know, some people tell me this part bow hunting, and I understand that. I've heard lots of stories of people shooting deer with their bows and not being able to retrieve them. It still doesn't sit well with me though. Again, this is my first year of bow hunting. That's actually the first deer I've ever shot with a bow. So I'm coming from a background of hitting them with a rifle and either just watching them drop immediately or running 10 yards and dropping. So this is a whole new experience for me, and it's been a difficult one, I'm not gonna lie. So with that, I've decided to take as many lessons from this as I could. The shot placement itself, I feel like my shot placement, if all went according to plan, however risky, would have been okay. Wasn't ideal, but I think it would have been okay. However, nothing went according to plan. So as we saw, he was walking broadside to me, and I drew, and I was either going to try and stop him myself or hope for him to stop on his own, and then I was going to take a shot broadside. That obviously didn't happen. He turned and faced almost directly at me on his own. So when he did that, I knew I had about one of 3 options to pick from here. I could either hold as long as possible and hope for a better angle, but the bow I'm shooting is at least 20 years old. The let off on that can't be more than 50%, and it's about 60 pounds. So holding that for a long duration just isn't feasible for me. So that dispelled that option for me. Option 2 would have been to let the arrow go. Let the bow down. But he was staring straight at me. I didn't want to spook him. He would have for sure seen that and would have been gone. That might have been the best option now in retrospect. But option 3 was to take the shot. I know there are arteries in vitals that I can hit in the neck region, the lower neck region, and I was also hoping to maybe even bust into the chest cavity. So I decided option 3 was probably the best one at that point. So I let the arrow go. What I didn't anticipate was how loud my bow truly was, how slow my arrow is, and how quickly he was able to react. Between the bow snap and the arrow impact, he was able to duck almost to the point where his chest was laying on the ground and rotate a full 45 degrees. That was a huge shocker to me. That all played out into the bad hit. If he would have just turned, I think we would have been okay, because then he would have been broadside and the arrow would hit him in the vitals. It would have been great. But the duck and turn is what caused the bad impact. So the lessons I've learned from that are that I have to be more patient, and even if I think I have an okay shot, if it's not ideal, I think the proper course of action would be to let the arrow down and risk a spook. So on the mental side of it, those are my lessons. On the equipment side of it, like I said, my bow is old, at least 20 years old. It's a hand-me-down. I bought it off a friend of a friend. And I put it through the chronograph at 200 feet per second, which I thought was decently fast, but apparently not fast enough, and the bow was loud, so the deer reacted very quickly to it. So the next thing I did, I went out and I upgraded my equipment. I traded up my Golden Eagle Predator that hasn't been manufactured since 2004 for a Hoyt Torex XT. I did a lot of research. I looked at Matthews, Hoyts, PSEs, Diamonds, Bear, Elites. I've looked at a lot of bows, and I decided to go with the Torex XT. I'll get more into my choices for this bow in another video, because I want to do that. I want to give a breakdown of why I chose this and the bow itself. But nonetheless, I have upgraded. My equipment is now modern. It's new. And I also upgraded my broadhead and my arrows. I'm shooting a broadhead now that is sharper and has known better penetration than what I was shooting. So hopefully with these changes and the mental lessons I've learned, I will be able to take a nice ethical shot on a deer. I'm going out next weekend. It's the last weekend for archery here in Michigan before firearm season opens. So hopefully I'll get an opportunity then. If I don't, I'm planning on going out at least a couple more times in December after firearm season ends here in Michigan. So wish me luck. Just got to use my head a little bit more now that I've got these lessons ingrained very, very deeply. So thank you for watching. I hope you've been enjoying this video series. If you do like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It helps me out, because I've been enjoying making these videos for you guys and documenting my process here with my first bow hunt in a very, very long time. So again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.